Hi kids and hi parents. I hope everybody's had a great week and is enjoying what's left of our summer. I've had a great week personally. I finally got to go back to my full-time job at Zales. So I'm just super excited and thankful. I love everybody that I work with and I love what I do. So just very thankful and excited that I have the privilege to get to go back to work. I've not been at work since the state shut down way back in March. So super happy and excited. But without further ado, let's get on to our Sunday school lesson for today. So today's story comes from the book of Luke, chapter 18, verses 1 through 8. And this is another parable that Jesus told while he was here on earth. Parable being an earthly story with a heavenly meaning. And this particular parable is all about the word perseverance. And we find this through his tale of the widow and the judge. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. But first, before we get into our lesson, I want everybody to take a minute and just think about a time where you really, really wanted something. It could be a toy or maybe a privilege or going to an event or a sleepover or something like that. Something that you really, really wanted and you knew that you would have to work for. What was this thing? Was it easy or hard to get? And what did you have to do to receive this? So I'll tell you a little story about one of the examples that I have. When I was about you guys' age, I was the only girl out of my friend group and in my entire class that didn't have her ears pierced. And I really, really wanted to get my ears pierced. But my parents were hesitant because I didn't keep my room clean all the time, and sometimes I needed to be reminded about chores and everything. So they weren't sure that I was responsible enough yet to handle having my ears pierced because there's a lot of upkeep that's involved in cleaning and all that stuff. So for about a month and a half, I worked really hard and I made sure my room was always clean, that my parents didn't have to ask me to do any of my chores, that they were done right away as soon as I got home. I helped out at my church where I was growing up in, and I helped out at my grandparents' house. And I continued this for about a month and a half to 2 months before my parents were like, you've shown us that you're responsible and you can handle having another responsibility. So they took me from school one day and took me out to the local piercing boutique and got my ears pierced. And then to thank my parents, I just continued to do what I was doing and making sure that I was showing them that I was a responsible person. So when we work really, really hard to get or to learn something, that's what's called perseverance. Now, my story is a really minute example of what perseverance is, and there are so many examples in our Bible and just in human history that shows what perseverance can achieve. Now, our story today is all about a widow who was very persistent about making this judge do the right thing. And this story is found in the book of Luke, chapter 18, verses 1 through 8. So I'm going to read that for us right now. It says, "Then Jesus told his disciples a parable to show them that they should always pray and not give up. He said, 'In a certain town there was a judge who neither feared God nor cared what the people thought. And there was a widow in that town who kept coming to him with the plea, "Grant me justice against my adversary." For some time he refused, but finally he said to himself, "Even though I don't fear God or care what people think, yet because this widow keeps bothering me, I will see that she gets justice, so that she won't eventually come and attack me." And the Lord said, "Listen to what the unjust judge says. And will not God bring about justice for his chosen ones, who cry out to him day and night? Will he keep putting them off? I tell you, he will see that they get the justice, and quickly. However, when the Son of Man comes, he will find faith on earth." So this story is all about making sure that we are trusting God in our everyday life, putting our trust in God and trusting the process. This widow was very persistent, and sometimes when you really want something and you're not getting it and you keep working really hard, it's easy to get discouraged. But this story reminds us that we need to keep working at whatever it is that we're doing, and we will get that justice. Unfortunately, in today's world, justice and fairness are not the norm. People have to fight tooth and nail to receive justice a lot of the times. And we see this example kind of throughout history. People don't win justice usually without a fight. And that's important to remember. Justice doesn't come easy. And so in our personal lives, we really need to make sure that we're putting our trust in God and we're reaching out to Him and we are doing what we can to facilitate justice and also make sure that we're praying for other people to receive justice. Even if we're not personally involved in the situation, making sure that we are constantly keeping them in our prayers and doing what we can for those people, whether it's donating to a fundraiser or bringing a meal over or speaking up when we need to speak up, like for instance with school bullies or when your friends say or do something that isn't right, making sure that we're calling attention to that and seeking justice for the people that they're either bullying or saying these things against. It's important. It's one of the ways that we can imitate Jesus here on earth and continue to show just how much we love and respect God and how we are putting our trust in Him and also imitating the example that His Son left for us here on earth. So I hope you guys all have a great week. I'm going to see you next Sunday. Bye for now.